Welcome to Box Office Buddies, a podcast where we have a new guest on each week and we unpack one of their favorite all-time movies. We'll unpack it, we'll laugh about it, we'll talk about it, we'll review it, we'll analyze it. Sometimes some movies will go down different trails. So I'm excited to see where we go with this episode today. I'm Brandon, and today we have a special guest, probably the most special guest, Gretchen or Chinny, however you want to, whatever you want to say.
Gretchen is fine for the
podcast. Gretchen's special for a lot of ways. She does the editing, so she helps in that regard as well. And we went on a date last night.
Yeah,
and that was fun. That was fun. That was exciting. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had a pretty good time.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Okay, so Gretchen, tell us a little bit about yourself, what it is you do, what do you do for fun, what makes Gretchen Gretchen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a background in production like this, but these days I teach English at a high school in Oklahoma City. So that's what I spend most of my time doing. And then obviously I have a lot of other hobbies like hanging out with you. I'd call that a hobby.
Yeah.
I like creative things. So I make stained glass. I do weird crafty things, but yeah, read, stuff like that. Watch bad movies.
Besides Twilight, what is the most recent bad movie you've watched?
Oh, the most recent one?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can tell you the most memorable bad movie I've watched.
Yes.
It was a Christmas movie. I watched it with my roommates when we were, when I was in college. And it was I can't remember the title of it, but it was about this girl who was Santa's daughter and she wanted to go to college and she was played by Harper from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
And then the guy that she ended up I don't know. I think they ended up getting married or whatever, but he was Ned from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
What a crossover episode.
Yeah, it was not their best performances, I have to be honest.
That's funny. You don't remember what it's called?
No, I don't remember what it's called, but there's this one scene where Jack Frost is trying to convince her to marry his son, basically. So he sent his son to the same university. Yeah. And he's running down the street and he's wearing this cape and he took his cape and he went like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that image is ingrained in my brain. I've went and looked it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Afterwards, because it was just, it's a good scene.
Yeah. How, tell me a little bit about just your experience with movies as a whole. Have you always enjoyed watching movies? Do you look forward to movies coming out? And what are some movies that are coming out that you are looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't really go to watch movies in the theater, but we would go to Blockbuster. My mom would let us rent movies. We'd go to Redbox when those were out, and we'd get movies and have movie night at home. Yeah. But growing up, we had a big collection. I remember rewatching over and over again, all the Scooby-Doos, all the Land Before Time, stuff like that. So we watched movies a lot when I was a kid. My brother and I did. Yeah. But we didn't really go see new ones. So I remember, I think probably the first movie I remember going to see in theaters was How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. And I won a gift card to AMC because I read so much. I got the AR points. Yeah. And I traded it in for a gift card to AMC. Yeah. Because we didn't get to go very often. So
that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Well, today we're talking about a good/bad movie.
I think it's a great movie.
great movie. Yes. And as you can see, we have t-shirts, courtesy of Gretchen, which are awesome. But we're talking about, I would say, a cult classic in a way. I would honestly go as far to say probably the ultimate love triangle. When you think about just movies as a whole, a team this guy, or team this girl. And a movie that will make you cringe all at the same time. We're talking about Twilight. And for those who haven't seen or heard of Twilight, here is the premise. High school student Bella Swan, always a bit of a misfit, doesn't expect life to change much when she moves from sunny Arizona to rainy Washington State. Then she meets Edward Cullen, a handsome but mysterious teen whose eyes seem to peer directly into her soul. First time reading this. Edward is a vampire whose family does not drink blood. And Bella.
He's a vegetarian.
He's a vegetarian. And Bella, far from being frightened, enters into a dangerous romance with her immortal soulmate.
Yeah, there's probably something wrong with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you chat GPT this?
I know. I pulled this from Google.
Ah.
Yeah, I was just like, Twilight premise, and this is what they came up with. What do you think? Do you think this does it justice? Or
yeah, I think ChatGPT could have done better.
Yeah.
But I'm a big ChatGPT fan these days.
Yeah. Do you ever use it in your line of work?
Yeah. I use it for all of my lesson planning.
Okay, cool.
I use it today to make a resume for my mom too.
Nice. Shout out Tara.
Shout out ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Twilight. Let's unpack it. How'd you first discover this movie? What is your earliest memory with the Twilight series?
Well, I'm a girl. So,
Yes.
And I grew up in that time period where, the librarians were recommending it at school. It was coming out in movies. Robert Pattinson. Can't go wrong,
Well, so wait, let's
Taylor
back
Lautner.
up. Let's back up a little
Can't
bit.
go wrong.
I haven't read the books. Have you read all the books?
Yeah, multiple times.
Are there some scenes in the books
that children should not be reading?
Yes. Yeah. And so were librarians actually pushing this book on?
Not pushing, but if you wanted to read it, they'd be like, oh, that's a great book.
Okay.
Good choice.
Okay, interesting. Okay. All right, continue.
Yeah, so I think it was just the time period. And then, you go to school and what do you talk about? Cute boys.
Yeah.
2 of them right there,
Yeah.
Now as an adult, I look back and I'm like, this is not a relationship that a high schooler should be entering into or witnessing.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. But I mean, as a 13-year-old, it's just kind of fun to watch it with your friends, talk about it with your friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course we talked about it.
Yeah. What was the most toxic thing you saw rewatching this first Twilight movie?
It's so fast. And they're so young. Well, she's young. He's not.
He's not young at all.
And you would think for how long he's been around, he'd be a little bit more conscientious of the fact that my sister's 17. This is I can't imagine her in this position. And she shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's just it's a lot. It's kind of love bombing. It's kind of and why is she so interested in him is the thing. That first scene where she sees him in the cafeteria and then they have biology together and then
and he goes
and he goes like that, and then she sees him in the counselor's office trying to switch his schedule, and then she's like, and he wasn't there for the next however many days, which was, it started to get weird, and I was like, why would you even notice? If somebody, maybe because he was so weird to her, she noticed, but if my classmate was just absent for 6 days, or one of my students, if they were absent for 6 days, I think he was just on vacation, whatever.
And she just got there, and so she doesn't.
Yeah, maybe he does it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like a really odd thing for a new person to do.
Yeah.
And to care about.
And it says in the books, it's not really addressed in the movies as much, but it does say in the books, whenever it's sunny or whatever, they go away. For quote unquote, camping trips or hiking trips or something. As their excuse to not go to school. So it's not completely out of the blue that he's just not there.
Yeah. That's good.
It's a little obsessive. Maybe that's the toxic, trait I would say.
Obsessive. That's good. What, when you rewatched it, first, if you had to guess, how many times have you watched the first Twilight?
7 or 8.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe more than that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of I think in 2024, I probably watched it 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In 2025, you're 1?
Oh, okay. Then in 2024, I watched it twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
New year.
I forgot we've already switched over.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite scene of the movie and why?
Oh, my favorite scene. Okay, my favorite scene is when she and Charlie are in the kitchen and she's standing. She gets water from the sink. She's standing there. She like takes a drink, and then she pours it out.
Yeah.
Puts the cup down, turns around, and like leans against the sink. Thinks about something else to say, and then just walks away. And then Charlie's like, "Okay," you know.
Yeah.
I think those moments, and then the ones where you like see the other kids on the peripheral, and they're like having fun and joking around, and she's like in this weird, serious, obsessive relationship.
Yeah.
And you're like, she could be having a completely normal life right now if she was just not so obsessed with this weird guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Why do they make Edward so weird, so mysterious? And
because he's the world's greatest predator. Everything about him just draws you in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Why do you think Robert Pattinson even took?
He doesn't even know why he took this.
He said that you've like seen him like
in all of the interviews.
Yeah.
Not in the first movie probably, but like in the next couple movies when he does this like press interviews, he's obviously he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He probably just needed a job.
Yeah. And I mean, was that? I mean, I like Robert Pattinson, but I haven't studied him enough. Was that like his first big break?
No, I think I think he'd already done Harry Potter before that.
Oh yeah, Cedric Diggory. What's Bella Swan? Kristen Stewart. Yeah, she was in Zombieland, I think before.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
About what she did before.
Yeah, I think she had a couple things, but it is interesting to think that they would sign up for this kind of role. And you've seen the movies. Does Edward continue to be weird like this, or does he become more normal?
I think he gets more of a sense of humor throughout the series.
Yeah.
He's still kind of weird and like obsessive, but I think that's just part of the story. You know, like he needs to be that way for the story to move forward as fast as it does, because if not, then like, you know, like what, like, I don't know, because he in the next movie, he like goes away for a time period and then he comes back and like, yeah. So that's like, she starts to kind of think about like, oh, maybe like if he never comes back, I have to move on with my life, but she doesn't really want to, you know? And so then like, I think, yeah, there's like certain elements of the series that I think if he was just like a little bit more lighthearted, it'd be a little bit better. But I think he has to be that way for the like intensity of the show, of the story. Yeah.
So how does it work if the roles are reversed and she falls for Jacob in the beginning and Edward is kind of on the side like Jacob was in this first movie?
Oh, I hadn't considered that before. Like because she was friends with Jacob when she was a kid.
But just the roles are reversed. She was friends with Edward as a kid. And
completely reversed.
Yeah, she meets Jacob at school with his family. And like, how do you think that looks different?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Jacob is a fun character, you know? But like if Edward wasn't really around in the first movie, then you'd probably have a lot more people be team Jacob, and then like the weird people would be team Edward, you know? Yeah. But the way it's set up, like you can go 50-50 until like later in the series when Jacob starts doing weird stuff. But and then that's when people generally switch over to Team Edward, except for you.
So which one are you?
Team Edward.
That's your Team Charlie.
Yeah, you're right. These days I'm Team Charlie.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. The characters. So you first saw this came out in 2008, something like that.
Something like that.
What characters have you come to appreciate more?
I like Alice.
Alice is cool.
Yeah, and I like Jasper for his comedic relief.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it until later, and I thought it was perfect when Anna Kendrick's character is introducing like the family, and she's like, "And there's Jasper. He always looks like he's in pain." And then she goes over to the house, and it's like he like,
literally has to try so hard.
Yeah, which is like, it's weird, but it's like really cool that they're who they are. And like they go to school, and even though it's like killing Jasper, literally, like they're still just trying to be.
They matriculate a lot.
Yeah. And so you've appreciated Alice as time has gone on.
Yeah.
What about appreciate less as you've grown older and realized that this is not real life and like, yeah.
Edward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because like he should know better. And he's like, there's just so many times when he's like hot and cold, and then he'll go up to her and be like, we shouldn't be friends.
Yeah.
And then like immediately he's like watching her sleep at night.
Yeah,
Like, get out of her room. Leave her alone.
Yeah, I'm like, if you know it's not wise, like, well, why do you keep entertaining this? Why are you always around her? I get it. Now, what kind of emotions and memories does this movie bring up for you?
This movie is pretty nostalgic. Like, I think because I always watch it with people, except for the other day when I watched it by myself to get prepared for this. But then even then we were like texting about it. Yeah. So we were watching it at like roughly the same time. So I think just it's like a community movie, like why would you watch this movie by yourself? Yeah. Really. But if you're going to like have your friends over, hang out with them, like that's how we did it. Mm-hmm. Like you shared it with people. Yeah. I shared it with my sister a couple years ago. And then now she's like convinced all of her friends that she discovered this movie. Yeah. And like at the same time as that's like, excuse me, give me credit. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I just like that she likes it. And like, I shared that with her and now she's sharing it with other people. And it's the same thing. It's like generational. I don't know. So just like nostalgic. There's this like, I don't think I'll ever not like Twilight. Yeah. Just because I have a lot of memories of hanging out with my friends. Yeah. We've had like watch parties and stuff like that. It's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah. My memories are walking through elementary school and seeing Twilight books on girls' desks and just wondering what all the hype was about. But I told you, like when we were texting, I've never sat down and watched it all the way through. There are different scenes that I remember, and I kind of heard like through classmates kind of the weird things Jacob did at the end. Yeah. And so like, but when I realized that Jacob was not really in the first movie, I was like, what? Like this is weird, but cool. Mm-hmm. But it's like, first off, I don't really understand how someone can be Team Jacob just based off the first movie, because it's like,
no, you have to wait till New Moon. Yeah. That's when Jacob's really introduced. That's his movie, Is
that the second one? Or?
Yeah. Okay. That's the second one when Edward like goes away for a little bit. Because he finally, I think, like realizes, oh my gosh, this girl's gonna like kill herself trying to be with me. Literally. Yeah. Like she literally would have rather died. Yeah. He like goes away for a little bit, and then Jacob steps in.
How much time passes in those movies?
Oh man, it's such a great scene actually that shows the time passing. Have you seen it? Like the clip from New Moon of her sitting in the chair. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Edward goes away, and he like writes her a note or something. Like he doesn't tell her he's leaving until afterwards. Mm-hmm. Well, the first movie ends with her saying like, "You can't leave me ever," like, which is
red flag.
Red flag. Yeah. Like, so that's pretty obsessive and toxic, Yeah. So that's how the first movie ends, basically. Mm-hmm. I mean, that wasn't the very last scene. They're in the hospital when she says that. And then he takes her to the dance. And then that's when Jacob shows back up. And he's like, hey, my dad paid me to come tell you to break up with your boyfriend. Yeah. And she's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that, but go get your money. Thank you for being a good friend or a good son or whatever. And then in the next movie, basically, like right from the beginning, like Edward leaves, and then she goes into like a depressive episode. And she's just sitting in a chair in her room, and there's a bay window, and the camera swivels around her, and through the window you like see the seasons changing. Yeah. So I think it goes, and it tells you like the months. In the book, it's literally just a page, and it says like the month. Like, and then you flip the page and it's the next month.
Wow.
But I can't remember how many months. I think like 5.
Okay.
If I were to guess, like 4 or 5.
So not that long.
No, not like, I mean, long enough.
Because like
long enough for her and Jacob to like, for her to be like, he's not coming back.
Okay. Because Jacob looks pretty young in the first movie.
Yeah.
But he grows up.
He's like 15 or 16 in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew Shark Boy and Lava Girl would really just just take off for his career.
That's the real reason that Branden is Team Jacob.
Yes.
He's actually just Team Shark Boy.
Team Shark Boy. Yeah, who isn't? What do you think are the themes that this movie is trying to portray?
I have no idea what themes this movie's trying to portray.
Yeah. Like, what's the meaning? Like, what's the message that they're trying to communicate through all the?
I think the
drama?
message she's trying to communicate is like, true love is worth fighting for, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think she's a little messed up.
The author?
I think her idea of love is a little bit off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you would think like you wouldn't want to encourage that kind of behavior,
especially not in teenagers,
little women, you know.
No, if you want Little Women, that's a movie with a lot of good themes.
Yeah.
Twilight, not so many good themes.
Yeah.
Family, she reunites with Charlie and like starts building a relationship with her dad again.
Yeah.
That's a good theme.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of family, you kind of already mentioned this, but a question I wanted to ask: who is your favorite? First, let's say sibling in the Cullen family.
I thought you were going to ask in my family.
Oh, no.
I was like, what does this have to do with
No. In the Cullen family, and then who is your favorite? Let's just start there. Favorite sibling in the Cullen family.
I like Emmett.
I thought you liked Alice.
I like Alice.
Okay, so why is Emmett your favorite?
He's just kind of a knucklehead, you know? Like, he says wild things, and I think he'd be funny to have around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so what character, either side, friend, or Edward's family, Bella's family, Jacob's family, what side character do you think plays the biggest role? If you say Bella, Edward, and Jacob are the 3 main, like what side character do you think really moves it both in this movie and through the rest of the series?
Oh, maybe Alice.
Okay.
Like Alice, you know, she like goes up to Bella and she's like, we're going to be great friends.
Yeah.
And then she like, when Bella is like, when she gets bit in the first movie and the venom is going through her body and she's like freaking out, you know, and Alice is there and she's got like the bite mark on her arm and stuff. And then Edward's trying to decide like, or Carlisle asks him like, you can let the change happen or you can suck out the venom. What are you going to do? And Alice is like, I've already seen it. Like she's going to become like us, you know?
Yeah.
So I think as much as Edward like really didn't want Bella to become a vampire, he just wanted her to have a normal life. Alice is like, it's going to happen. Like I've already seen it.
Yeah. Does it happen?
Yeah, of course it happens. Not until, not
it's
as soon as you would think.
It's pretty later. Yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah. The last book.
Yeah.
Spoiler, I guess.
If you haven't seen it, then what are you doing?
That's also a great scene. Just like the very end of Breaking Dawn Part 1. That movie is honestly pretty boring. Because they get married.
Most Part 1s are pretty boring.
Yeah. They get married. She gets pregnant. She gets all sick and like shrivelly and stuff like that. Yeah. So she can't really do much. So it's pretty slow. But then like in that last scene, she basically dies, right? And then they've got like venom saved so that nobody has to bite her. They just like inject her with venom or whatever. And then it's not great CGI, but it's not bad, you know? So you like, so like see her like coming back and like whatever. And then her eyes like.
And then it ends.
And her eyes are like bright red.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that scene.
That's a good one.
So what was the bad guy's name? In the first movie?
James.
Yeah. Was James trying to kill her, or was
Absolutely.
he trying to turn her into a vampire?
Nah, he was trying to kill her.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because they stopped him,
Mm-hmm.
there was the kind of this like weird limbo stage of like, she's not dead yet.
Yeah, because I guess the way it works is that like he has to bite her and like suck out all of her blood for her to die.
Yeah.
But he just bit her. And so then it's just like, now she just got venom in her blood. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah.
So then she can be like changed.
That's good. Speaking of good, what are some things that, this movie is funny. What are some things you think the movie does like really well?
I think honestly, like the scenes of them just like at school where everybody else is just messing around, or like at La Push where she's walking with Jacob.
Yeah.
And like he's telling her about the like Quileute legends of the cold ones or whatever. And like she's trying to make it so serious. And he's like, it's just a story, Bella. And then like you see, I don't remember who it was, but two of the other friends like running around and like laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that is so good of like, she could just be having a normal life.
Yeah.
I don't know. And visually, like all that stuff kind of happens like around her. Like always, it's always like around her.
But she's never noticing it because she's so locked in on this.
And also
this
why,
life.
When she did a Google search of like Quileute legends and whatever, why did she go all the way down the page to find a bookstore?
Yeah.
I'm sure that first one was like a link
to
an online artitle.
Because they had to set up later.
Her going.
And Edward saving
that
her.
was crazy. That's crazy behavior.
Yeah. That was
him following her. I would have immediately been like, all right, drop me off at the bus stop.
Yeah.
I'll ride the bus home, but she's into it.
Yeah.
So there's like weird stuff like that in the movie. I feel like it's like, why did you make that decision? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think one thing that I did enjoy, the times where I found myself like paying the most attention, there was the one scene where it was pretty funny. A lot of quotable lines in this scene where he takes her out to like the mountains. And
we haven't even talked about that part.
Yeah. And she's like, I know what you are. He's like, say it.
Like, out loud.
Yeah. A vampire. And then he takes her up and.
Yeah. Cause he's got to show her.
Yeah. And it's
sparkle.
Yeah. Yeah. Look like a diamond. I think through all of that, it was cool to see like when she was asking all those questions and he was explaining like Carlisle and who they are and how it works and all those things. And I thought that was really cool because, it's a fantasy movie and there are a lot of times in fantasy movies where you can kind of just do whatever you want and just say, oh, it's just kind of like a thing you can do. But I loved how
he's explaining it.
Yes. And for the rest of the movie, there are going to be like these barriers that they exist in, at least I think. But like, we know from the beginning, this is how someone becomes a vampire. This is their story. This is why. And so I thought that was a cool like writing moment of who we are. It just makes sense. And then another thing I liked was the subtlety of Jacob, like being in the background. I told you that yesterday, but he's just a friend, a friend that like she grew up with, and it makes sense that he is like there, but not really there, and how it's not about Jacob. It's about kind of them falling in love first, and now there's like some tension as well. And so I thought those are some pretty cool elements. Would you change anything about this movie, or would you say it's perfect as is?
Maybe I'd make them 6 years older. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. At least they don't get married in the first movie.
No.
Close to it. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just, they're so young, impressionable. Like, yeah. There's a lot of like, what ifs, you know?
Yeah.
What if she'd have gone to college?
Yeah.
What if, I don't know.
You know who's to blame for all this?
Charlie.
Literally. Keep your wife, bro. Just
oh.
That's what I was saying. I mean, like,
yeah, I guess so.
If him and his wife stayed together,
then she would have grown up there. She'd have been better friends with Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say.
Where do you think I was going with that?
Like not let her go out and play baseball or something like that.
Yeah, you know.
Or like when she tried, like when she literally left in the middle of the night.
He was fine with that.
Yeah. Well.
He was upset. Help me understand. He gets her back. And there are several scenes where there's a scene at the diner. The waitress is talking about how like your dad's been so excited for you to come home. It's
so sweet.
What's Jacob's dad's name? Like Billy Bob? Billy
Black.
Billy Black. Which we're gonna get to favorite lines because mine comes from him actually. There's this scene where he's like, "Oh, your dad's been talking to me like so much about how excited he is for you to come back." And every scene they have together, Charlie is just so not there. He's just so disengaged. And I'm like,
Bella?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I think you've missed a few things.
No, he does not. He like, she doesn't care. He doesn't care. They're just existing.
No. Okay. I think you're wrong.
Okay. Tell me why.
Okay. So that scene I talked about earlier where they're in the kitchen together.
Yes.
I think he's like trying to connect with her and he has no idea how.
Yeah.
It's not that he's not there. He just is like floundering kind of.
Yeah.
Like he wants to so bad that it's kind of like I want to, like whenever I want to read so bad that I just never do because I can't choose a book or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. He wants to be he wants to be a dad to her so bad. And he's like so happy to have her back, but he just doesn't know what to do. So you should rewatch the movie through that lens.
Okay.
And then you'll be Team Charlie with me.
Yeah. I like every time I was like, bro, like, could you try a little bit harder? Like, is that fair enough to say?
I think he doesn't want to push her away.
Oh, well.
Because he just got her back.
Good job. Because now she's gone forever. Literally. Forever.
No. Just for like an evening.
Yeah.
And then he gets her back.
Yeah. Which honestly don't spoil anything.
About the next movies?
Well, I might watch them. I'm not sure yet.
Should watch them.
I thought he was going to die.
Charlie?
Yeah.
You thought James was going to kill him?
I thought James was going to kill him. I really did.
What a twist that would have taken. Then Carlisle would have had to adopt her because she would have been, well, I guess not. She could have gone back to her mom. But it would have made sense for the people of Forks. Oh, Carlisle's gotten another adoptive child.
And they're together.
Dating.
Yeah. You're right. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
That they're like, I think it's funny when Angela is like, I wish he'd adopt me.
they're together.
I think it's funny how the other students think about it.
Yeah. It's legal.
Yeah. Is it right?
No. All right. Favorites or a couple favorite lines from this movie. Which one makes you laugh the most? Which one do you
have your phone with you?
I do have my phone with me.
Can I see the thing I sent you the other day?
Yeah.
Because I sent, the last time I watched Twilight before this time, it was actually, we were having a watch party with my boss's daughter and some of my friends when I lived in Germany. And this is such a good like winter movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like one of those days when the sun set like super early and we were like, what are we going to do? Watch Twilight. But we made like a whole thing for it. We had like themed snacks. We had games and like they had a projector. And so we put this up on the projector and like we made bingo cards. And so this is like, I sent Branden a list of the quotes that we use for our bingo cards. And so I have to look through real quick to find which one's my favorite. Oh, so many good ones. Okay. I think probably one of my favorites is when they're in the woods and she's asking him the questions or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's like, as if you could outrun me. As if you could fight me off. And he just throws the tree.
Yeah.
That one's really good. Yeah. And then this movie taught me the word masochistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a sick masochistic lion. Mm-hmm. That one's good. When she says, I don't really like the rain, any cold, wet thing. Yeah. I don't really, and she like, you know, and then he laughs because it's like, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the very end when he says, I leave you alone for 2 minutes and the wolves descend. That's clever.
Yeah.
Points us to the next movie.
Yeah.
They don't say anything yet about the fact. Oh, well, he does. He says like we're supposedly descended from wolves, but they don't really get into that.
Which, quick pause. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of werewolves versus vampires and kind of just seeing like how powerful vampires are in this first movie. Like, do they ever fight? Is it ever close? Like
the vampires and wolves?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is it a close fight? I feel like vampires would that'd be pretty easy for them.
No, because they're not like normal size. They're like giant wolves. Actually, I don't know how big a wolf is in real life. So maybe they are just normal size.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have to see one in real life.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
No, there's yeah, I think I don't want to spoil if you're actually going to watch the movies. But I already did tell you this actually. Okay. In the last movie, the fight scene.
You didn't tell me about this.
Yes, I did because you asked me what my favorite or like about my memories of this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I told you I like so distinctly remember being in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Being at my friend's house for like I was spending the night with her.
Yeah.
And we were watching Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in the movie that's not in the book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think you knew that the werewolves were there.
No.
Are they werewolves? Wolves? Because they're technically not werewolves. They're shapeshifters.
Really?
Yes.
New development.
Yeah. So whatever. The wolves.
Yeah.
They're gonna fight the Volturi, which is they're like the next bad guys.
Okay.
Like James and Victoria are the bad guys from the first movie, and then the Volturi are the bad guys from the rest of the franchise.
Is that a different mythical creature? Or is that more vampires?
No, they're vampires. They're like the vampire council.
Okay.
And they live in the Vatican.
Okay.
So then Edward, anyway, that's in the second movie.
Yeah.
So they're about to fight the Volturi, and it's like Edward's family and those vampires, plus the wolves against the Volturi.
Interesting.
Yeah. I won't say anymore.
Thank you.
But it's a good fight. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
My friend and I were like screaming. It was so good. And then something happens and you're like,
okay. Maybe I'll check it out one of these days. Okay, back to your favorite quotes, your lines. Any other ones?
I like watching you sleep. Why would he say that? Why would he let her know he's been watching her sleep?
Yeah. She thought those were dreams.
Creepy. Yeah. And then I think the last one that I'll mention is when she's confronting him about saving her in the parking lot. And she's like, you got to me so fast. Like I saw you across the parking lot. And he says, I had an adrenaline rush. It's very common. You can Google it. You are crazy.
Yeah.
And he's just gaslighting her.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Lots of gaslighting in this movie.
It's very toxic.
Yeah.
My favorite quote doesn't come. Well, can you guess who it's by?
You said it was Billy.
I did say it's Billy. Yeah. Mine is when he's like, I'm early on in the movie. She gets the truck from her dad, and Billy like helped out, and Jacob helped with the engine or whatever. And Billy's like, I'm down with the kids. I just thought he just knew like that's what she wanted. He's like, yeah, I'm down with the kids. And it just felt like so funny. I really do like him and Charlie's like friendship and kind of that whole dynamic. And so hopefully,
yeah, and they're like shadow boxing in the street.
Yeah.
They're fun. Yeah.
Just normal.
See, the normal side characters.
The normal side makes it really good.
Yeah.
A couple other kind of first. What mythical creatures do you feel like are in Washington right now?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah. Well, you know me. I like.
Yeah.
I believe in a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sasquatch definitely lives up there.
Yeah.
Unicorns, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Mermaids, it's probably in their migration pattern.
Yeah.
Just a stop over there. They probably enjoy the harbor area.
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think lots of like demonic things probably live in the woods up there.
Yeah.
In the forests. So,
which leads me to my next question. Would you want to live in Fort Washington?
Sure. If the Collins are there and I can watch from the sidelines and I can be involved in like the fun things going on.
Be the normal side character as all that stuff is happening.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. A couple.
I'm sure their news is wild, like their newspapers.
Oh yeah.
So
be good to be a publisher out there.
Yeah. Or I could just sit, drink my coffee and read the news.
Yeah. That's also true. A couple other things I saw. The cast is like pretty star-studded, you know, kind of early in everyone's career, but I thought that was cool. I put in my notes, Edward is the worst, Jacob is cool. I also put in my notes, girls ruin everything, because hear me out.
Sure.
They didn't, like, I think of the scene where Rosalie, is that her name?
The blonde one?
Yeah. Is that her name? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
She brings up a really good point. When
is she even Italian?
That's a good point. They're in the garage. They're getting ready to go on the run. Yeah. And she's like, why should I do this?
Yeah, why should I help?
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe Carlisle is to blame for all this, actually. Not Charlie. We can blame Carlisle because he's just like, she's with Edward. She's part of our family now.
I'm like, how long has it been?
Exactly.
But I'm like,
But Carlisle is supposed to be like 23. And he looks older in the movies, obviously. Yeah. Because he's supposed to be a parental figure in the movie.
Yeah. A doctor.
Yeah. But in the book, he's like 23 is when he got turned into a vampire.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, like, despite how long they've been around, their maturity levels did not grow with
Frontal
them.
lobe hasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So none of them have a fully developed frontal lobe.
That's fair.
So they're making wild decisions like, yeah, she came over to our house once and then played baseball with us. Yeah. She's part of the family.
Yeah. And she made some questionable calls as the umpire.
You think so?
And
I don't know anything about baseball. Yeah. So to me, just their outfits were the most questionable part of that.
Funny. But yeah, they could have just let her go and just been like, oh, well.
James, do your thing.
I'm going to live forever, so I'm bound to find another Bella Swan. You know, like why?
Or turn her.
That's true.
Just go ahead.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. Girls ruin everything. Yeah. What are your kind of closing thoughts on Twilight as a whole? Why should everyone take the time to watch this movie?
Because there's nothing else like it.
That's true.
So many things tried to be like it. Like there's a whole other series. It's called Fallen. It's kind of like angels and demons.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like similar vibe to Twilight. And it totally flopped, you know? Because I think it was pretty original. Like obviously vampire stories have been around, like Bram Stokes. Bram Stokes? Dracula. Like, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
They've been part of like every culture has some sort of like vampire story, you know? But I think the way Stephenie Meyers, as questionable as she is, like she wrote a good story, you know? Yeah. It draws you in. Even if it's just like to hate watch, you know, everybody should see the movie.
Do you think I think I kind of asked you this. To some people, it's not hate watching.
No, some people love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to explain to you like the following, and like some people are like die hard Twilight fans.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I feel like I do know this movie too well.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it so many times. Mm-hmm. But like, there are some people out there who like, they commit a lot of time to this, this movie. And it's still, to this day, like people are talking about it. Like 2008. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Yeah. But Bershka just released a Twilight clothing line this year or last year, I guess. Yeah. So it's like, it's not going away. Yeah. It's never going to go away. Like there are always going to be people who like love it and like swear by it as one of their favorite movies or favorite stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is there any talk, has there been in the past few years of sequel spinoff or kind of?
She wrote a book from Edward's perspective.
Oh,
it's
really?
The first book from Edward's perspective.
How long ago was this?
3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. So pretty new.
Yeah. So the cover of that one, it's like half a pomegranate, like an open pomegranate. I don't think it would work to do like a spinoff because they look so different. Like the idea is they don't ever age, but they physically look so different. I don't think they could do that. Yeah. Unless it was like their daughter and Jacob down the road.
Oh yeah.
Situation.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because like Jacob's technically allowed to age.
Yeah.
After he, like whenever he wants to. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't know that though.
No.
Okay, forget I said that. But like, anyway, I think they could do something with that. But does he want to? Probably not. Like he's probably good sitting on his wad of cash that he made
from Shark Point Love.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. One last thing. What is your letter to the director? Like, what is one thing that you would say if you had a chance to talk to whoever directed it? I forgot. I should have looked it up. Yeah.
I would say they should have kept the teal filter for all of the movies.
Yeah.
Commit.
Yeah.
Commit. It looked so great. It looked so cold.
Yeah.
So rainy and gross.
So Seattle-like, just truly the P&W. Mm-hmm. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to Box Office Buddies. I hope you enjoy Twilight, and I hope that you don't watch people sleep. And I hope you know what a toxic relationship looks like through the eyes of Edward Cullen. We'll see you guys.
We'll leave a number for the hotline, toxic relationships, in the description.
Yes. We'll see you guys next time.